Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? Okay, 2, 3 of you are doing good, the rest? Okay, I hope you're doing very good after my little presentation. Well, first of all, thank you to Howard. What a beautiful event, and thank you for having me here to talk to you today a little bit about my favorite topic, how to increase your hotel and brand and asset value. Well, to be honest, that's maybe not my favorite topic. My favorite topic is more how to create exceptional things, how to create exceptional concepts, how to create exceptional restaurants. My topic is more how to include art to differentiate yourself from the rest of the competition. My topic is more how to make out of your guests loyal fans, how to make fans out of your guests, how to excite your guests, how to bring them back, how not to let them go to the next hotel next door. That's more my passion and my favorite topic, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I prepared a 2-hour presentation for you. I hope that's okay. Well, I will try to run through my 200 slides in half an hour, so I better get going. Okay. Let's get started. Couple of words to my person. I'm a hotelier by trade, having worked in 16 countries on 4 continents over the last 30 years. And let me tell you about my first job. Ladies and gentlemen, talk about high tech. My first job was at the Intercontinental Hotel, same group in Paris, 30 years ago to the day. And I was telexist. Now, anybody that is under 50 doesn't know what that is anymore. Telexist is you make little holes and little strips of paper to communicate with each other. The fax machine was invented in hotels 2 years later. Well, we know we have no more fax machines, ladies and gentlemen. So that was my first job. My first job in China was 1990 to open one of the first 3 5-star hotels in Shanghai, called the Westin Taiping-Yang in Hongqiao, now the Sheraton Grand. Ladies and gentlemen, Hongqiao was outside of town, in green meadows. I came back 7 years later to open the Portman Ritz-Carlton, and I arrived in town, and the new street was a 16-lane highway. I was like, am I in the wrong town, or what happened here? Well, I moved on, opened 16 Ritz-Carlton hotels all over the world, became vice president operation in Europe, and developed a brand called Bulgari Hotels, a small joint venture brand. And then 9 years ago, I started to do again where I have most passion for, hopefully to create asset and brand value. Okay, let's get started. What was the last 30 years? Let's start, and I will do these numbers quickly because you heard them already all today, and I don't want to repeat much better presentations. But I brought a picture that you all have seen before. China is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. It blows my mind every time. 1990, I was sitting there with my secretary in Pudong. They had a farm. I was sitting on the floor. We were eating on little chairs, rice and chicken. And then I wanted to take a walk in the fields, and she said, no, no, you cannot. I said, why? Too many snakes. Well, the snakes are gone. The Hyatts are here. This picture is 4 years old. Now a tower twice the size of our own hotel brand, J Hotels, is next to it, almost complete. That's how the times change, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what happened? You had 4 5-star hotels in the end of the 80s, early 90s. What do you have today alone in Shanghai? Well, you have 50 5-star hotels, and that doesn't count individual and boutique brands. Wow. I had to move out of Germany and Austria because the whole countries together don't do what you do in Shanghai. Which brands do you choose? So many choices. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, you choose a brand that gives you exceptional, that gives you not the same that we have done the last 30 years that I just showed you. Because the danger is that the next 30 years you will not have a business anymore. So what does that mean? Well, look at the China market. 5-star international hotels. Everybody was proud. I own a 5-star hotel. Wow, great. Shangri-La, today Portman Ritz-Carlton, ran in 1 year 93% occupancy, at double the rate than it runs today 20 years ago. So what happened? Well, what happened was 50 more 5-star hotels opened. High quality, prestigious, exclusive. What happened since then? Well, more hotels came. We started to develop mid-scale hotels. We started to develop 1-star hotels. One of the companies I'm allowed to do some work for is grown. They opened 2005 one hotel, ladies and gentlemen. 2013, 8 years later, they hit number 2,000. They're called Plateno. They have a 1-star brand called 7 Days Inn, you all know. Well, they're now the number 11 hotel company in the world by pure number of hotels. Amazing things happened. Obviously, what is the consequence? The competition became dramatic, and we need to create more excitement, more individuality, and more exceptional hotels. That's, I guess, the comment, and let's look at this. Well, I already said it before. This was 2012. I took this on purpose. 2007, the same slide, ladies and gentlemen, showed one Chinese hotel company in the top 20 in the world. 2012, it showed 4 companies. And here you see 7 Days on number 14. Well, they moved up 3 notches, but went from 900 hotels to 2,100 hotels. Well, look at these beautiful hotels. Your typical 5-star hotel, 300 to 500 rooms, 3 restaurants, a big lobby, lots of marble, a spa, better a big spa with indoor pool, outdoor pool, 25 spa treatment rooms. Well, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that they all look the same. And I had a dinner with the head of the Guangzhou Hotel Association a week ago. And he told me the problem. The problem is Guangzhou average rate 5-star hotels, 600 RMB. Beijing average rate 5-star hotels, 700 RMB. Shanghai average rate 5-star hotels, 800 RMB. Wow. I am worried if I would be you and own a hotel here. What are we doing the next 30 years to make sure that there's profit left and return on investment? Well, few more numbers. That was 2 years ago, before Chinese government changed the laws. 4.7% increase in supply, 3.7% in demand, occupancy down 1%, room rate down 3.8%, RevPAR down 4.7%. Well, all numbers that you know, supply and demand. Well, in the luxury segment, tremendous new supply, not much more demand. 4-star, okay. 3-star, not so rosy either. Too many hotels coming. This is a screenshot I did last week as an individual to purchase a hotel room in Beijing last week. Well, the 5, 6, 7-star Fairmont and the local Wonder Realm. Online, I can get a room, luxury, that costs many, many euros, many RMBs to build for 600 RMB. Okay. So what can we do? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop counting the beans and let's start to become hoteliers again. Let's start to focus on the guest, to change them from guests to make them our fans. Not a number that goes through your door, because 10 hotels next to you do numbers too. And when they open the new hotel, the new restaurant, and they charge 50 RMB less, your guest will be gone, because you're treating him as a number and not as an individual that wants to be excited by name and become a fan of your hotel. So service excellence. Let's go back to a few basic values. How do we create excitement in the guest, and how do we ensure that we keep him? Uniqueness. It's not good enough anymore, ladies and gentlemen, to build the next hotel next door. I went to Qingdao a few years ago to do an art project in Qingdao. And there's Jiaonan outside of Qingdao. And they were on a green meadow, ladies and gentlemen, 12 five-star international luxury hotels being built at the same time. Well, make sure that yours, one of the 12, is very different and very unique and very individually designed. Design and art. And we heard a lot about food and beverage. Ladies and gentlemen, many hotel companies still see food and beverage as a problem, not an opportunity. The problem is the profits are smaller. It's labor intensive. It's difficult to do. Well, all true. But the food and beverage is giving you the reputation, the clout, and the style of your hotel in the local market, not the bad. Because your Shanghainese don't sleep in your Shanghai hotel, but they might go to your restaurant if you did a good one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I brought a little video. It's just 1 minute. And I would like you to watch it and think about your guests in your hotels and in your restaurants. Think about it. Are they as excited when they come to you than these guests in this video? So please, video up.
And now we're back in the living room. And now, bedroom. Wow. And...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously you have to love beer very much, but no joke. You're thinking, why is he showing us that? What a joke is that? Well, think about it. If we go to a hotel where you spend $100 million to build it, why is the guest not as excited when he walks in because of the service, the dramatic building, the money you spend, and everything you've done? We have to create that excitement when the guest walks out of the door. So, how do we do that? Well, let's look at something. Who of you has an apple? Apple, 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 apple. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate these Apple people. You know why? I'm sitting in the airplane a couple of weeks ago, and I have a beautiful Dell. So I'm working on my Dell, and next to me is sitting a guy, and he looks at me and looks at me and looks at me, and finally he takes out his Apple, and he says, "Excuse me, let me show you my Apple." No joke. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, same money, same computer, same development, but that's an enthusiastic fan. Who of you has a Mini? I forget it. In a Mini, you have to be under 1.80 meters tall, because otherwise you have to cut a hole in the top to look outside. It's double the price than any comparable car in the same class. But still everybody tells everybody, look at my Mini. And they're not even laughing at him. I mean, I prefer to drive an Audi, but different story. But in the Mini shops, the cars hang on the ceiling. They do exceptional service. They follow up on your birthdays. They do exceptional individualization. They build the car with a flag, a British one on top if you want it. And your color, and. In my office manager in Singapore, she has to fly cheapest plane. We're a poor company. So she always upgrades herself with her own money to fly Singapore Airlines. And she's right. Why? because in the economy class you get 6 wines to choose from and 3 meals. And 10 years ago, when you had to sit in Lufthansa backwards, they already had 300 movies to show. Yeah, because they are ahead of the time. So exceptional, enthusiastic fans. Now, satisfied is not enough. The hotel companies that still do an advertisement with a good bed, they're missing the boat. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if all what you do for $1,000 is a good bed, well, goodbye. Now, remember, that's what we have to create. So how do we do that? We created a 9-modular quality service excellence management system. Ask your hotel company, what is their philosophy to create fans out of your guests? What is it? Let them show it to you. And not only let them show it to you, then check it if it's really happening. First of all, look at the philosophy of the company. And ladies and gentlemen, every hotel company has a philosophy. In Ritz-Carlton, we said once, check the 3 steps of service. You know, when you go through the door, is there somebody who says, a warm welcome? When I walked in, I was quite early today, and there was 10 ladies and gentlemen from Harvard. And they all jumped up, because I was early, and said, welcome. Wow. That's the first step of service that you have to see in your hotel. If you go in the lobby and you stand there like this, that means you're looking for the toilet. Why is nobody coming to show you where to go? Okay? Second step of service, we provide the service we promise. We have a promise and we do it. And sometimes we do more than the promise. And the third step of service, thank you that you were in my restaurant, in my hotel. Please, please come again. Simple, but we don't get the basics straight, ladies and gentlemen. Employee selection. Don't steal the employees from the other hotel. If they come to you, they probably didn't want them there. Find employees that have the passion. Maybe they don't know how to carry 5 plates. But that I can teach you in half an hour. But the passion for service, to really want to be professional server, that you have to find. Train them, certify them, communicate every day with them. The philosophy. Motivate them. Ladies and gentlemen, the owner of Shangri-La, I worked in Kowloon, Shangri-La in Hong Kong, Mr. Kwok. One day, that was 20 years ago, they were not as big as now, he came for Chinese New Year. He gave me a red packet. The owner of Shangri-La gave me a red packet, a lycée, as they say. And he says, thank you. I think I have told this story 5,000 times. Ladies and gentlemen, you are owners of hotels, many of you. How often have you done this to your employees? I have 10 more minutes and I have 1 hour to go, so let's move. Empower your employees. The employees that do a good job for you, let them do the good job. Ritz-Carlton had a saying, every employee can decide on $2,000 if he wants to make a guest happy. Do you think anybody spent $2,000 on the guest to make him happy? No. But they didn't have to check if the coffee was cold with the manager, if they could bring a new coffee. No, they said, I'm so sorry. I bring you a new coffee and I take it off the bill. My apology, my mistake. That's what you want. Measure what you do. Involve your key people in the decision-making process. Let them do their job because you hired the right people. And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, go back, tell everybody about your philosophy, because now you're really living it, and then individualize your guest experience. Even if you have big hotels, everybody needs to have a name and feel he's important to you. I was allowed to give a speech, ladies and gentlemen, like this, for the directors of Audi cars, 1,700 of them. And I drive Audi since 15 years. So I was complaining to them. They were expecting a speech how good they are. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, I have an $80,000 car since 15 years. and you haven't even sent me a birthday card. Unacceptable. Well, I finished my speech, a few clapped, like this, and I went back to my hotel to check out and fly back home. In my hotel, I told them my preferences before in the speech. I said, I love red wine and I love chocolates. In my hotel was a bottle of very fine red wine and pralines with a card. And it says, Dear Mr. Junger, at Audi, sometimes we do care and do service. Signed by Mr. Stadler, president of Audi. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they're trying. And that bottle of wine was worth it, because that story I told 5,000 times. Okay, art and design, ladies and gentlemen. Well, who is the owner of this hotel? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your hotel and it was the first one next to the airport, you did very well and return on investment in 3 years. The problem is that probably next to you are 5 other hotels now and you don't do any profit anymore. Well, we're going to the Anders tomorrow for a cocktail. If it looks like this, you have a chance again. Well, let's do it on a lower scale. This is an expensive hotel, nice windows. This is a much cheaper hotel. Where do you think most of your guests would go if they're next to each other? Well, let's do it a little bit more extreme. This is a hotel like hundreds of other hotels in China. This is a vineyard hotel done by Frank Gehry in Spain. You cannot book. They're sold out years in advance. Now, Frank Gehry is a very expensive designer, yes. But what's more expensive? This one to be sold out for 5-6 years, or this one having 32% occupancy? Let me tell you about asset value in my own hotel. I have a little hotel. I'm a hotel owner like you, but my hotel has 12 rooms. So I bought a little place on top of a mountain in Austria. So why do I tell you this? Well, because as consultant, we wanted to do the design, the concept, envision what we think about hotels, do the art bit in it, do the service, and then showcase it. Okay? We wanted to create a hotel of the future, a hotel where you can sleep in a room with 4 people, like a 0-star hotel, upgraded youth hostel, and a suite which is 1,000 euros in the same hotel. And then mix them up in a restaurant concept that's cool, and that the 60-year-old millionaire has fun with the 22-year-old backpacker. And create one of the top 10 highest average rates in Austria. That was the plan. Sounds a little kooky. Well, when you see the hotel, it's even more kooky. That's the hotel. I mean, that's the hotel 3 years ago when I bought it. Ladies and gentlemen, it was in service like this for 10 years. They operated it like this for 10 years. You think they need brand and asset value improvement? Yes, they do. It looked like this, it looked like this, it looked like this, and it had a great restaurant concept. They never took down the decoration. Well, what to do? Now it looks like this. This is the leading sculpture artist of China called Renche. And I asked him to give us, because we own 3 galleries and we do a lot, so I asked him to loan me one of his pieces, a 3-meter tall, 1-ton polished stainless steel Chinese warrior to protect my guests. He did, and it's $300,000, and I couldn't afford it, so he was very kind. He gave it to me on loan. But I was stupid, I should have bought it. 2 weeks later, Robert De Niro bought one for Nobu Central Park South. And 2 months ago, Johnny Depp bought one for his apartment. It's at least twice the money now. So sometimes you should be careful what you invest. That's my spa. I have 1 massage room as well. But you don't need 20, the huge pools, the thing. Maybe you need if you can sell them. But if you have 20% spa occupancy, why? Make it a center of creativity, create something that the guest is really looking for. That was a 700 euro investment, but it's very highly occupied. That's the restaurant. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 12 naked people on the wall. But these 12 naked people, they are Olympic and world champions in skiing. Austrian, I'm in Austria, hotel concept, restaurant concept. Believe me, the whole mountain comes when they ski to show the naked people. And the restaurant is full. Now then you do good service, good food, you do well. I love smoking cigars, so I needed to create a cigar room for me. Well, not only that, but at the same time, we have a cigar roller that does our own cigar, our own brands. We do our own wine. In a 12-room hotel, we sold 2,500 bottles of our own wine in 1 year in a 12-room hotel at 86% profit margin. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? This is garbage cans. We cut them open, painted them white, and used them as our beach chairs. That's high value on on design furniture. Cost about 10 euros. Art. By the way, all the doors, you see the sheep, they're in the Chinese zodiac sign. So you sleep in your room of the dragon, the sheep, the snake, not in room number 245. Art. Even our guests post themselves on Facebook naked next to our stars and ski champions. And beautiful nature helps. The hotel made a profit in the first year of operation with 12 rooms. And people say you cannot make profit with 12 rooms. The hotel out of 3,800 hotels in TripAdvisor in Austria is in the top 10. And it showcases concept and design. That's how you need to differentiate and increase your value and brand. I have 2 more minutes. We have heard enough about food and beverage already, but I brought a few pictures, maybe to give you an idea. Before, ladies and gentlemen, I heard about the ADD. I heard about the Chinese restaurant. I heard about the what was it? The formal restaurant or third restaurant. Why do you need 3 restaurants? Why is the ADD the ADD? And why is the ADD not your concept restaurant where people go and stand in line? Ladies and gentlemen, restaurants today make it simple. Make sure your hotel guest doesn't have a seat and he has to stand in line. Because if he has to stand in line, he wants to go in. If he's the only guest in there in his big private dining room, he will find outside a place where he has to stay in line. Strong brand concept, local accents, operational guidelines. Well, a few concepts we have done. We developed a concept for Hilton called Open, and this is their new ADD. Well, it looks like this. Not quite your typical hotel restaurant. We developed a brasserie in Berlin, Ritz-Carlton. A brasserie, we bought a 125-year-old painting shop in France. We brought it to Germany, rebuilt it as a brasserie. We put a pig out of teacups in front of it to greet the guests. And on a good day, it does 780 covers in Berlin, outside guests. German concept we heard before are popular. I agree, but you need to go the next step after Paulaner. This is a German restaurant that sells bread and sausages. And they do handicraft in the restaurant. They hang cuckoo's clocks on rundown tapestry and mixed chairs they bought for 10 euros. You cannot get a space, ladies and gentlemen. It's full every day. It's not a question of marble floors. It's a question of idea and execution. Balthasar in New York, my favorite restaurant since 30 years. Balthasar is a brasserie. Didn't spend a lot of money. It does up to 7 turnovers every day since 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. But looks cool. Brasserie Parkhuis in Belgium, same. Brasserie bistro concepts is the old future, but modern done. This is a Hotel ADD in Gothenburg. Well, how does that look to you? Or how does that look to you? Ladies and gentlemen, there I want to go. And not because I have breakfast included, because I want to come for dinner to do my business meetings. Private dining, cool, huh? Mr. French, now talk upscale French restaurant. Well, let me show you one, how it should look in the future. Is that cool or what? And the lady said right away, wow, even the waiters look good. Okay. Le Pain Français, a Starbucks upscale, French bread and coffee. I think you didn't expect that. China Tang, the first Chinese restaurant with a Michelin star, 25 years ago at the Dorchester in London. Then 10 years no business, 0. Then David Tang from Hong Kong bought the restaurant. He touched it up in older than before, made a Chinese brasserie out of it, put some quirky art at the entrance, and today is the highest grossing Asian restaurant in Europe. Graffiti Cafe, Bulgaria. Look at this, 3-star hotel, ADD. So what's so special about it? Bulgaria, ADD. Well, look at it. That's what's special about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's an ADD. Pio Pio, New York, an alpine food concept. But you can do alpine not like Paulana. You can do alpine quite cool. Esquina, one of the highest grossing restaurants in Singapore. The whole restaurant has 20 seats, but it does on average 120 covers for dinner. And they're expensive, and all they do is Spanish tapas, the food of China of the future. Look in Shanghai, Beijing, soon to be in secondary cities. Shintori, your own in Shanghai, for me the coolest Japanese restaurant. Well, ladies and gentlemen, extraordinary is in the future the new ordinary. And my favorite artist, Mr. Picasso, said, there is the artist that makes a yellow spot out of the sun, but the other artist that makes a sun out of a yellow spot. And I think that's how we have to start thinking as hoteliers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Walter, thank you very much. Very, very interesting.
谢谢 Walter Junger 先生。